Welcome back to the Cat Knit Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Monday, January 13th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting, because that is what I love to do the most. We're going to add something to that list this year, and that is making sourdough bread. It's quite awesome, but we'll get into that more later in this episode. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there. When I take breaks for the holidays, like I have taken since Christmas, I have had a wonderful break, and I'm ready to start podcasting again. So if stuff like this happens again, we're gonna take a break. If you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, Instagram is the place to go. So yes, I also work at a yarn store. It's called The Modern Skein in Montgomery, Texas. I will leave all the stuff, all the information, website, address, all that jazz in the show notes, which are on my blog. So if you would like to find any of the show notes or any of the information I've just mentioned, if you're on the YouTube, the link to my blog is down below, or if you're on my blog already, everything is already there. I have been gone for quite a while, which is good. I needed a break, needed some time, and then Sam got sick and that had to be taken care of, and the holidays happened and it was super fun, lots of partying and lots of just enjoying family and friends and lots of knitting. So I have a lot to show you, quite a lot. So we will discuss that in the episode, because we will not discuss it in the intro, because I always do that, and the intro is always way longer than the music that I use, and then I have to use extra music and blah blah blah. If you would like to join me for some crafty chat, that comes later. What do I say first? If you would like to go grab something tasty to drink, it's been a while. It's gonna be a rocky episode, I feel like. If you'd like to go grab something tasty to drink, whether it be hot or cold, something to snack upon, an animal to snuggle, something to craft upon, bread to bake, laundry to fold, or all of the above, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat in the brand new year. So everybody, it's been long enough since I have seen you that I don't actually remember what all I have knit and finished and started and all that jazz since I last talked to you, which is good. I feel like that means that I've been very productive, but also in regards to sharing all this information with you, I'm not very good at being organized. So we're going to I'm going to consult my own Instagram for this because, yes. Let's see, when did I take a break? I don't remember. Okay, so I had a podcast on the 18th of December, so anything after that. Okay. So yes, let's see, where did I post that? Okay. So, everyone, I have finished 2 sweaters, 1 shawl that I'm wearing. It's my first languishing whip of the year, which is pretty awesome. I've started a test knit. I'm almost done with that test knit. I've started 2 shawls. One of them was a Christmas present. The other one is a knit along with a friend from the yarn store. Her name is Andrea, and I'm very excited about it. And that is using stash and 1 skein of yarn that was a Christmas present. So I have done quite a lot, and then I've just made a lot of progress on other projects. In previous years, I have gone through and shared what my knitting goals are of the coming year, and how successful I was with the previous year, which is really awesome. I've started that work, like figuring that out and all that jazz. It's not done yet, but I also don't want to like zoom through all my knitting stuff that I've gotten done and then this being incredibly long, and then it's just like can we just divide it up so it's a little bit more manageable? So next week will be knitting goals. I apologize if you were looking forward to hearing my knitting goals this week, but next week we will discuss them then. I put tassels on this shawl, and putting a tassel or tassels on shawls is never a bad decision. Because they are just so much fun. They add so much pizzazz, and then they're fun to play with. You know, try not to do this too much because I feel like that's going to be a distraction. So let's see. What else is there to talk about? I mentioned before we left, or we departed our ways to celebrate the holidays and all that jazz and have some creative rejuvenation for the podcast and all that jazz. I discussed books and books that I had read last year. I don't know how interesting that would be to you all. Let me know if you want me to like go into my favorite books that I read last year. In total, I'm very proud of this. In 2019, I read 83 books, which I'm very proud of. I made a post on Instagram about it, and I said I wanted to thank the Houston Public Library, my Kindle, my long commute, audiobooks, all that jazz. Without those things, those 83 books would not have been possible. Also, knowing how to knit and read, that is also a huge factor. Books. Baking, also yarn acquisitions. I got some delightful yarn for Christmas. I am so excited to show you everything. Again, I'm going to kind of divide that up in future weeks just because there's just so much to chat about. There is some yarn that I have started using for 2 of my projects, like I mentioned at the beginning, that I will show you, but there's some other yarns that have not been started yet, so that might be in next week's episode, if not the week after. So, yes. Last week, so I had planned to, like, very, very much a side note. Last week I had planned to, or was it the week before? Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. I don't remember, but like, well, anyway, so the point is that I was going to record, I think maybe on Tuesday. I think that's what it was. Tuesday of last week. Don't remember what the date was. Don't ask me that. I can't remember. I was gonna record on Tuesday, which is odd, right? Because I normally record on Mondays. Because I had a doctor's appointment on Monday because it's the beginning of the year and that's what you have to do when you're an adult. You have to go and have unpleasant doctor's appointments, which are the worst. I have a text message, and so that was my Monday. But it was okay because I got to hang out with my mom and we had fun lunch and we went and got buttons for sweaters and stuff like that, and I had this very unpleasant doctor's appointment. But it's done for the whole year, so that's all that really matters. Anyway, I'm sure you're very fascinated with that. So I was going to record on Tuesday. Sam then came down with a cold. Consequently, he's lost his voice at this point. A week later, it's been a lot going on, just so much partying. There was a wedding that we went to that was so much fun, but Sam has no voice now. But he was home last Tuesday when I was planning on recording, doing some work from home, but also just kind of like not feeling well, and I didn't really want to make a really long, involved episode while he was here, just because I needed to take care of him, and he was also working and on the phone. And I'm sure the people that he was on the phone with didn't really need to or want to hear me talking about yarn and my knitting progress since Christmas. So, we waited one more week, and here we are today, on the 13th of January. Here we are. I'm back. I am back. We will see how well this gets recorded, how fast my editing goes, as it has been quite a while since I have recorded and edited Yes. So, that is a thing. Also, sourdough bread, everybody. Sourdough bread is really quite wonderful. So, I realize that this is a knitting podcast, and you're all probably really like, we want to hear about your knitting. We don't want to hear about your sourdough bread, which I would understand. I will not be offended by that if you feel that way. Totally understand. But I'm very excited about the sourdough bread, so I'm going to talk about it first. So I read the book called Sourdough last year at the end of the year by Robin Sloan. It was very inspirational. It's just a very good book in general. It was probably one of my favorite books of 2019. And it really made me want to learn how to make sourdough. I have made bread before, and I've made stuff like cinnamon rolls before with yeast and all that jazz. I'm not super, not super good at it. Like, I couldn't just whip something together as if I was making cookies, which I could do. If that makes sense. So, it was just kind of like, making sourdough bread, it would be very fun. And it would be a new thing to learn in 2020. That would be pretty cool. My mom had a starter, a sourdough starter that she had gotten from a friend forever ago. And the starter had actually been just hanging out in the fridge and hadn't been fed or used in a very long time. My mom started reading this book and then got the starter out, started feeding it again. It came back to life. It was very healthy. It was bubbling. It was doing all its good sourdough starter stuff. And so then I now have some. And I made a loaf, and it was really wonderful, and it was just truly amazing. I made it last Tuesday, actually. That was what I was doing while Sam was sick. It's a 2-day process, really. The video and instructions, basically, that my mom and I have used is from Jacqueline something home on I have this saved because I watch the video all the time now to make this bread. Yeah, Jacqueline James Home. This is her Instagram. This will all be in the show notes, by the way. But she has a very, very wonderful and instructional video, an IGTV video, actually, that's only like 11 minutes on how to make sourdough bread with a starter. That is little mess, super quick, super easy. My mom had gotten all these tools already, and so she had gotten some for me as well, which was really wonderful. And now my sourdough game is just like awesome. And granted, I've only made one loaf. I'm currently in the process of making the second one. Not to toot my own horn, but the first loaf of bread that I made was pretty incredible. I'm super proud of it. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a picture of it because I posted that picture and was so proud. So proud. Also, if you are interested in that kind of bread making, you can search on Pinterest for scoring designs on the top of it, so when it bakes it looks all beautiful and looks like it came out of a bakery and very French or whatever, very Parisian. With your freshly baked bread for the week, no big deal. So yeah, I've been into that. That's new. I'm sure we'll be discussing that in the coming months because there's things like waffles and muffins and donuts and rolls and focaccia bread and just so many fun things you can do with sourdough starter that I want to do all of them. So I'm going to take you guys along with me in my sourdough journeys. Whenever and how that happens, I'm not sure, but we will figure that out as we go. So that's new. Sourdough, all that jazz. Now we'll get into the knitting. Apologize for the rambly ranting thing. So, I also believe there's another sweater that I finished. Oh, another side note. How many sweaters did I do in 2019? I ended up doing 22? Now I can't actually remember. I did write it down. I can't believe I can't remember. That's dumb. Yeah, number 22. My last sweater was the Aldous by Isabel Kramer. It did in fact get done. And it's been blocked, and all the ends just need to be trimmed because I wove them in as I went. So it's pretty much done. The second sweater, this was technically number 21. I am so proud of this. I'm very proud of this. This is my rug sweater. Yes. By Yunko Okamoto. I knit it out of Cascade Eco Wool in 220. I love it dearly. I am just so in love. I wish it was colder more often to be able to wear it. I got a not perfect linen dress for Christmas from my parents, which I am so in love with. It's got pockets, and this looks so cute over the top of it, and like it'll be the perfect dress for any kind of knitwear, really, and I'm very excited for that. So I was very excited to get to wear the dress for the first time with this sweater over the top of it. It was just like, yes, I love this so much. This was what I wanted to do. So this is number 21 of 19 sweaters in 2019. Ultimately was 22 sweaters. That was not the goal. It just kind of happened. Once I got to 19, it was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. So next up, this did not get finished, but I have made quite a lot of progress on it. I'm very close. I don't know why I haven't finished it, actually, because I'm just so close to being done. Really, it's just laziness at this point. So I have an angle sweater by Caitlin Hunter on my needles. I have completed one sleeve, clearly, and I'm pretty much almost done with the second one. This is all stash, which is really amazing. I love that. And I'm very excited to be able to wear it over my not perfect linen dress, or underneath it if I so choose. I can do it either way. Also overalls. This would be so cute with overalls, or just with anything really, because it's just a cute sweater. You know? There's Madeline Tosh in here, there's Hedgehog, there's Life in the Long Grass, and then the white is Cosmic Strings. All of this was stash. Everyone, like, all stash. Can we even? Can we even? This needs to be done. It will get done soon. This will be the first sweater. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe the first sweater of 2020, I'm not sure. Let's move along to the next sweater. Goodness gracious, this is like so much to show you, everyone. Can we even? What? Oh, that's in there. Okay, this is in the middle of being casted off, so this will be fun to show you. Also, this is a test knit that I am not... Part of it is secret, part of it is not. Like, I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to. I am. We are. The testers are not supposed to show full finished pictures, or like in general. So I'm just going to show you a little bit, and that's all you're going to get. Like, the deadline for this one is January 31st. I am not worried. I'm like in the middle of casting off the body right now. Why I haven't finished that, I don't know. I should have finished it yesterday in the car when we were driving home from Austin. But here is a little bit of the sweater. This is, I'm getting ready to sneeze. Hold on one moment. Excuse me. I do apologize. This is a sweater for This Bird Knits, or her name is Annie. You might have seen a lot of her patterns out there. She designs beautiful patterns. I love this so much. It's been so much fun to knit, and again, this was all stash. Like, this yellow I've had in my stash for goodness knows how long, and I can finally use it up. So this is almost done. All I just need is the sleeves, and they're actually not even full-length sleeves, so I'm very excited about that, and just knowing that things will go very quickly. So this could also potentially be the first sweater of 2020. I'm not sure. We will wait and see. Let me put my Kindle away because that's in the way. So this has been residing in this wonderful cat bag that a wonderful dear friend from the yarn store gave me for Christmas. Her name is Karen. This is my new favorite bag. Like, can we even, like, it's also a huge bag and I love it so much. It's my favorite. It's the best. Like, for sure, new favorite bag. So that's that. I'm not going to try and put that back in there for right now because that'll be really tricky. Okay, what's up next? So this is not a new thing. This is a languishing whip. I have gone through, I have made a list of all my projects on the needles, all the ones that are languishing, all the ones that are not. I did make it work. I have a plan, everybody. I do have a plan. And so yeah, I pulled out one of these languishing whips and just decided to work on it while we were gone. It was good travel knitting and I got a lot done. So this is my Snowberry Wrap by Shannon Cook. My mom also has one. She is striping some maroon in hers and I believe she is done with hers. There's a timer. I need to go turn my sourdough dough. So that's fun. I will go do that and I will be right back. Okay. My sourdough dough has been turned. We have another 30-minute timer set. It's all good. So yes, I don't remember what I was talking about, but it's just this languishing whip. I made pretty good progress. I started on the trip here and I had 3 other projects with me and I actually got a lot done on all 3 of them, which I was very proud of. I realized that I was doing the pattern incorrectly, so the first part of the pattern will look slightly different than the rest of it, but that's okay because, say it with me now, blocking fixes everything. Starting off 2020 right, preaching the truth, blocking fixes everything. You know, more importantly, blocking fixes everything. So, I feel really good about that. I think I don't know, for some reason, like when I was working on it before, I just couldn't get into a rhythm of it. Like there was the lace portion and I couldn't figure that out. Like I couldn't memorize it, even though I could, like it was memorizable. There's that word again. I could memorize the pattern, but I just, for some reason, my brain couldn't wrap itself around it. And when I picked it back up, it was more easy to, like, once I got started, it's like, oh, okay, well, this goes here, and this is where the yarn over goes, and this is la-di-da, la-di-da. And then I have bobbles, lots of bobbles. Pick that up pretty quickly, so it's pretty mindless, which I'm really excited about, so it's still quite a big project. I have quite a few balls of yarn that need to be knit up. So but that's okay. I mean, it's just January. The point is just to work through stuff as much as I can, and that's the best that I can do. So that is that. That was also worked on. Also, I'm pretty sure there are other projects that I worked on that I just haven't. I don't think I remembered what they were or where they are. So for that I do apologize. But, so this is a new cast on. Oh, I know. Hold on. I'm wearing one. This will add to it. So everyone, you might recognize this. This is Diving In by Mamselle Flo. This is a long asymmetrical shawl with stripes and not stripes, and I'm not going to get this tassel in my tea. No. with the picot bind off. It's truly wonderful. I love it. I had a lot of fun taking pictures of this at the end of last week. Or not at the end of last week. On Thursday, I guess that day was. I used I'm just saying the word la. Yeah, you know. The French word for yarn. Amaret. My pronunciation, I do apologize. I feel very self-conscious about that, but it's French. And so my parents brought me back this yarn 2 years ago, actually. I cast this on in October of 2018. This is their tweed base. You can see there's little flecks in there. And then the other side has the sparkle. Cassiope, I think, is the base with the sparkle. I remember that. And so it's got a delightful picot bind off. I will not tell you how long that took me because I don't even know. All I know is that it took me forever, but it's done now. And then I added the tassels, and I love it so much. And in fact, I wore it to the wedding that we went to this past weekend because it went very nicely with my outfit, and I was very proud of it. It was also cold, so that worked out very well. I think it's time for a tea break. I don't know about you, but I've been talking for quite a while, seemingly. I don't know if it actually is, very fast, and I need to take a little tea break, so let's do that. Okay, yay for tea breaks. So, this guy. This has some story to it. Not a very detailed story, but it's still a story, and I think it's very special to me, so I'm going to tell it to you. So, backstory. Every story has a backstory, right? Like, there's always extra details that you might not know from the story. I'm also checking to see if the battery needs to be charged. Probably need to charge soon. But anyway, that does not have to do with the backstory or the story I'm getting ready to tell you. So the way that I put together my Christmas wish list for my family and for Sam for yarn was that I picked out some dyers that I wanted yarn from. I said which bases that I liked, and within those bases which colors I liked or colors that I didn't like, if that was an easier way to narrow it down. And then whoever was looking could pick from those colors, and then that way it would be more specifically like they picked it out, and I gave them options to look at. And so my parents did that. Apparently my dad had a lot of fun, and he was asking my mom a lot of questions about the different kind of bases and how that works and how do you know, which was so sweet. And so he actually picked out a lot of the yarn that I got for Christmas from my parents, which was really wonderful. And Sam went and picked out some of the colors that he liked, and they are very special. So this yarn, I don't have the label, that's dumb. But this is, do I have it somewhere? No, I think it's out in the other room. Dang it. Oh well. So, anyway, one of the dyers that I had listed was Peepla Poo. I don't know how to pronounce it. We're gonna look it up. Peepaloo Fields and Co. This is their Instagram. It will be in the show notes, so do not worry. They have beautiful yarn. So I had a list of colors that I really liked, and Sam picked out two that he really liked. And this one in particular was called Crackle, which I think is just so beautiful. It's very hard to see, but it's probably an undyed base of some sort, maybe a slight overdye of like light blue, and then a bunch of speckles that are just gorgeous. Like, I can't even. So, this is Crackle. And like a lot of single skeins that I have, I really just want to let the yarn speak for itself. I just think it's very special. Like, it's got memories with it, or I just love the colors. I want the skein of yarn to speak for itself. And so I don't want like a super fancy pattern, and I want it to be by itself. So I went searching through my Ravelry queue, because I have a bunch of one skein shawl patterns. And I found one that was very fitting to go with this yarn. It's a shawl that I wanted to knit for a very long time. It's called Drops of Joy by Janina Callio, and I've knit some of her patterns before and I love them. They're very delicate, like they're very lacy and just very open and beautiful. Not that others are not beautiful, but you know what I mean. It's just very drapey. She's got a lot of crescent shapes. But the reason why I picked this was because of the name, really, and because it was called Drops of Joy, it kind of associate, like, the pattern brings me joy, the yarn brings me joy, the fact that Sam picked out this color specifically for me brings me joy, and the fact that he just got yarn for me at all brings me joy, and that he supports what I do, that brings me joy. So then you put all those things together, there's just so many drops of joy that it works out. It's a perfect combination. So I haven't made like a ton of project. This was actually my New Year's Eve cast on. So I really enjoyed getting to work on it just all that day and all of, or New Year's Eve. Did I say New Year's Eve or did I say New Year's Day? I cast it on New Year's Eve. Let me say that. So I ended this year working on this, and I started this year working on this, which I think is pretty wonderful. And I see that my battery's about to die, so I need to plug that in very quickly. Okay. If you're a little bit closer, it's because I had to plug you into the wall, and I do apologize. Also my hair's long enough to put it up in this little ponytail. That's pretty cool. You know? A lot happens over several weeks of being gone. Anyway, so Drops of Joy by Janina Callio. Her design Instagram username I think is Woolberry or Woolenberry, because there's another one that's a yarn dyer, but it's not that. I've made mistakes in this for sure. Some of these little eyelets do not line up correctly. That's okay. I was not going to take it out, and I think it actually don't line up in multiple places. But that's okay. You know, actually maybe it's just one. Or two. But that's okay. You know, it really doesn't matter because, like, you can't really tell when I hold it up like this. So, no shame. Leaving it as it is. This part will be around my neck anyway. So, indeed. I am so excited about this. And it's also living in this bag that Sam got me for Christmas or Valentine's Day. No, I think it had to have been Christmas. I think this was our first Christmas together before, like, our second time dating. So this is just a very Sam-centric pattern project, and I love that. All of it brings me joy. All of it reminds me just how much he loves me and how much he supports what I do, which is very special. And I really love that. And so I'm really glad that I can have a project that just reminds me of that. And when I wear the shawl, it'll be like, I have a wonderful husband who appreciates what I do, and he supports what I do. He supports my yarn. He doesn't mind that there's yarn everywhere in the apartment. He doesn't mind being a try-on person, or like if I hold something up and I ask him if he can see my mistake, he doesn't mind doing that. He gives me his opinions on colors. And so yeah, I'm just really excited to have a project like that where he specifically picked out the color for me. And yeah, and I have a shawl to go with it. So I'm super excited about that. Next up is a knit along that I am doing with a friend from the yarn store. Her name is Andrea, and we are doing Powder and Dust by Vera Valimaki. And we actually just cast this on. My goal was to finish this guy and then use the needles to cast this on immediately, because I was like, well, I could use this moment to like empty more of my needles, but no, they've got to be used immediately. They've got to be used. So Powder and Dust it is. This is all I have so far. I'm getting ready to start the first lace section. This was another one of the projects that I brought with me on the trip. The third one was my test knitting sweater, which was really awesome. I got so much done. But this was my fun, like, new cast on. So I had a languishing whip, I had a test knit, and then I had a new cast on with me, which I felt like was very good travel knitting planning, because I had all the things and I made so much progress. Anyway, I love it. And I also love my little pizza slice from Sucra Miniatures. I love it so much. So, if you are unfamiliar with what Powder and Dust looks like, it's a huge triangular shawl. Who doesn't love that? Because you know what that means? More opportunities for tassels! And it's 3 colors. They fade kind of into each other. And there's also lace detailing in each section that I believe the pattern describes as cat paw print like lace, which I really appreciate, because if you're new to the podcast, I'm super into cats. I have an orange cat. His name is Birdie. He's very old. He's a grumpy old man. But I love him dearly, and he's the sweetest little kitten child ever. So the fact that these little lace things are being described as cat paws just really speaks to my cat loving soul. And that is not the only reason why I'm knitting this shawl, but it's definitely one of the reasons. True confessions. But anyway, so this is kind of stash, like, yeah, like this skein was to be for something else, and it was with something, but the other thing got used for something else, so then this was just hanging by itself. This is Life in the Long Grass. It's beautiful. I love it. So then we're going to be going into this color, which I realize is a drastic difference, but I can do what I want. It's a 3-color shawl. Let's just open the color Fading Eyes, shall we? This is Sugar Plum Circus in Fancy a Butterbeer, which I think is really wonderful. I love it quite a lot. And then it will fade into the last color, which was my second Christmas present from Sam, which is also Peplaloo Fields, and this is the chestnut colorway. So this is showing up very red on camera. I don't know how this will look on my computer, but or on your computer for that matter. So this is what we have, and we always use our face to hold things up, because it's just easier to hold up skeins of yarn this way. So yeah, we're starting here. We're gonna fade here. I'm very excited to be very autumnal. I'm super excited. So the lace, I haven't started the lace yet, but I feel like it should be pretty straightforward. Other than that, it's just very mindless. There's just a lot of striping and the occasional lace detail, and then you're done. It's just it's a big shawl. It's a very big shawl. So I'm looking forward to a reading and working on this. I did get some reading done this weekend we had some downtime on one of the evenings, and then Sam was in the wedding. It was for his best friend and a friend of mine from college as well. He was getting married, and so Sam was in the wedding, I was not, and I had a lot of downtime and knit during like the rehearsal, and then when he had to be there super early, I just sat in the car and knit and read and did my makeup, and it was great. It was a beautiful day. So I got a lot of knitting done this weekend, and I'm super happy with it. I love that so much. Like, I just feel very confident in my knitting trajectory. It's a very weird word to say. Trajectory? I think I said that correctly. You know what I mean. My knitting plans, I'm very confident in them this year. I feel like I'm off to a good start. I feel very like I'm gonna get things done. I've got a lot of things that are in really good places right now. I've got things that are close to being finished, things that are like made good progress on, and then stuff that is like almost done, like the angle sweater. In regards to yarn acquisitions, I do have some. Neither of these are actually Christmas presents, so I mean, it's yarn. There's nothing wrong with getting more yarn, you know. So if you follow Diane of Suburban Stitcher on Instagram, you would know that she and a lot of other dyers have started carrying this slub base. Just truly wonderful. Diane just knit a another triangular shawl out of this exact yarn, and it kind of broke everybody's like yarn mind. I know that the ladies at the yarn store, including myself, were very excited about this, so I got some. My mom got some as well. Hers is a blue. It's Diane's Hurricane colorway. This is the Swamp colorway. So this has not been cast on yet, obviously, but the needles that I will be using, I'm currently casting off the body of this test knit, and so once those are open, like, this could potentially be cast on, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I don't know if that's how that's gonna go. But it could, you know? It really could. So I'm very excited about this. The shawl I think that she did is called the Susan Joy shawl. So if you search that on Ravelry, a different name will pop up, but it's still Susan Joy, and that it'll pull it up on Ravelry. So I'm very excited about that. It's just the year. Will it be the year of the shawl? I don't know. I have something in my eye. Like last year, 22 sweaters, guys. Like, that's crazy. Can I do 22 shawls? That's also crazy. I'm not even gonna think about that. That would be maybe a no, but I don't know. I didn't plan on 19 and 19 last year until later in the year, so whatever. Anyway, more yarn acquisitions, because I'm now running out of space on my SD card. So this wedding that we went to was in Austin, and I had not yet been to the Hill Country Weavers. There we go. I hadn't been to their new location yet, and so I asked if we could run by there really quickly and just take a peek, because I wanted to see what it looked like, but I also knew that I had just gotten new yarn for Christmas, and so they're like, and I didn't know if there were other wedding plans or whatever, and so I mentioned that like when we were in the car driving there to Austin, I should say. And so Sam was just like, yeah, we can think about that, like, I don't know what's gonna go on, but we can figure it out. And so I was just like, okay, that's super cool. I'm fine either way. I have knitting available, but it would be super fun to go look, but no pressure. And so the rehearsal happened on Friday, and then on Saturday we went and got some super fun breakfast and some very delicious coffee. And while we were eating, or like while we were waiting for our food, Sam like showed me his phone and was like, look what's 4 minutes away. And he had looked up the Hill Country Weavers, and we had about 2.5 hours to kill, so he was like, we're just definitely going there after breakfast. And I was like, thank you so much. You are so amazing. I love you so much. So we went to Hill Country Weavers. Feel very, very strongly about this. And we had so much fun. I really love bringing Sam into yarn stores because he just really likes looking and learning about stuff and learning about the different dyers and like what do we have at the Modern Skein and what do we not have, like who are these people, are they local, I don't know, what's this tool, what is a yarn bowl for? That was a question that was asked. Very good question. So it's just stuff like that, and I really love taking him into yarn stores because it's fun and he cares about what I do and he's interested in learning about it, and it just means a lot to me. So I had some Christmas money and I decided to get a skein of Life in the Long Grass DK, which we do not have at the Modern Skein. And I knew that she did this, but I had not actually seen it in person. And oh my goodness, everybody, this is so pretty. I can't even... Yes, again, still feel strongly about this. Yes, indeed. So this is the wolf colorway. And it's just very neutrally, but it's got like all these fun colors. Like, look at all that. That's just so pretty. And like, I don't even know. There's some blue in here. Like, there's blue. I guess there's blue up there too, but there's more blue there. So yes, this will be something simple like the honey cowl. Like, that's what I had envisioned because I wanted like a souvenir-y type skein. And it's also kind of springy, summery, so I felt like it would be good to do that in. Or I could do the Age of Brasenstein. That would also work. But I like the honey cowl. I haven't made one of those in forever. So this was my souvenir skein of yarn. I'm very excited about this. I don't remember what size of needles the honey cowl is knit on, but I think the range of sizes that it might be are being used. So I should probably I'll finish those items first and then I'll cast on this, I think. But I'm just really excited about this. But it's special. Sam and I had so much fun. Because, side note, tomorrow, or yesterday when you watch this, on January 14th will be our 3rd wedding anniversary. It's crazy that it's been 3 years. It feels like forever, but it also feels like yesterday. So that's super exciting. So we turned this Austin trip into kind of like a fancy wedding anniversary trip, just because our wedding anniversary falls on a Tuesday, and so it was just easy to do. So we had a really fun Airbnb. It was just so much fun hanging out with friends that we hadn't seen in forever, and getting to catch up, and just good food, good coffee, good yarn, just fun quality time together, and we just really loved that. So fun way to celebrate it, fun way to bring in year 3 together, and many more to come for sure. So that is all that I have yarn-wise and knitting-wise. I have very little time left on my SD card, so I should probably wrap this up pretty quickly. I do apologize once again that there's no knitting resolutions or knitting goals for 2020 in this episode. I will have that all ready to go for next week, because looking at my list of knitting goals from 2019, I'd say that I did pretty well. I did pretty well getting everything done. So that's super exciting, and I can't wait to share that with you next week and what my goals are for this coming year. So fun times are ahead. Yarn acquisitions, yarn plans, more test knits. My sourdough is ready to be turned again, but I need to finish this very quickly, so we'll do that. So, with that being said, all of this delightfulness being said, being back in the swing of things, regular scheduling, all that jazz. No sickness, no nothing. Getting ready to celebrate 3 years of marriage. So wonderful. That is all that I have for you this week. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there. All the yarn store information and show notes will be on my blog in the show notes. So if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on my blog already, everything is already there. Yes. So there's bread, there's books, there's yarn, there's fun memories, there's yarn acquisitions, there's test knitting, there's all this stuff, and goodness knows what is going to happen in 2020 with our knitting, my knitting, your knitting, knitting plans, yarn, I don't know. It'll be very fun. I'm excited to see what happens, what all is in store for all of us, what projects we all get done, and stuff like that. So that is very exciting. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you hanging out while I took a break. I am back now, obviously, and ready to get things started in 2020, which is very exciting. The Catnip podcast is still going strong. I'm not going anywhere. Just need to take a break. And it was awesome. We had a wonderful time. So, yes. Is that everything? I think that's everything. What I say something. It's been too long. I should remember. Oh, I remember what it is. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. If you are planning out your 2020 knitting goals, or just goals in general, or if you don't do goals, or whatever floats your boat, let me know. I'd love to hear about those kinds of things, or especially if they're knitting related, or if they're not knitting related. If you'd like to share that too, that's awesome. And yeah, just making languishing whips more of a priority, even though last year I did really, really, really well. Like, I did super awesome. Pat myself on the back for that one. That was pretty awesome. How many times can I say the word awesome? Awesome. You know, it's just really awesome over here. But yeah. Getting languishing whips off the needles, making sure that my whip amount is lower than it is currently, and just in general, that's a goal, but we'll get into that next week. So tune in next time for my 2020 knitting goals and plans, and who knows what else. Sourdough bread stuff, who knows? I don't know. We'll find out next week. And I will see you guys later.